I'm Jasmine Naylor, your life and business catalyst and your spending strategist. I'm not sure if you caught yesterday's story that I posted on my Instagram and Facebook. However, if you missed it, I just wanted to do a recap for the No Nonsense New Year series. So essentially, I was getting filled in from someone about what had transpired during the day. And the particular person had a coaching session, and they were given exactly the next steps that they could take, the highly recommended next steps that they could take. And that person proceeded to say, oh, well, I want to enter into a 7-day praying and fasting mode to decide what I'm going to actually do. And that made me almost choke on my French onion soup at the restaurant, which was extremely cheesy. And then I proceeded to say, I really have an issue when folks, especially Christians, because this is only a Christian conversation, are utilizing praying and fasting as a delay tactic and not facing their fears of what the real issue is, or not calling attention to why they actually are saying they want to pray and fast. I'm not against praying and fasting. I pray and fast quite often throughout the year. So this isn't an issue about not believing in the practices of praying and fasting, but I believe that there's an issue in using praying and fasting as a scapegoat about not actually being ready to take the next steps that you need to be taking. And then I likened this in this conversation with this particular person and stated, did you pray and fast when you decided to get the tattoos that you got? Did you pray and fast when you decided to date? And then taking this a step further for everybody watching this video, because those things might not apply to you, do you, in your particular situations, have you prayed and fasted before you entered into a relationship or before you got married? What about when you were looking for a house? Did you pray and fast before you put an offer in? Most likely you didn't, because if you did, you'd actually lose the house. In addition, did people pray and fast before they took the jobs that they're currently in, or maybe even the work schedules? Or what about when you went and spent all this money for Christmas, and some people are about to spend a lot of money for New Year's? Did you pray and fast about the money that you were spending, how you were spending it, who you were buying things for, who you should or shouldn't be buying for? Typically, the answer to all these questions that I just asked, the answer is no. But I find it quite disturbing that we don't pray and fast when we're letting money vanish out of our pockets. But when it's time to make decisions to put money into our pockets, which the solutions provided were not anything grand. However, we don't pray and fast when things are going out, and yet when it's time for things to come in, we want to pray and fast, and we want to delay incorporating the strategies that have been supplied. Now, understanding the background a little bit further, I informed the person that this was not an instance of needing to hear God about what you wanted to do. This was a tactic employed because the person was not actually ready to employ the strategies that were given. And the reason they weren't ready is because the strategies actually make the person look at their desires and their wants in relations to their goals. And that's a big thing people need to pay attention to. Your desires and your wants may not line up with the goals you say you want, because when you're given the strategies, it's time to work them. It's not time to say, hey, I need to really think about this. If you state that I don't have enough money, I'm in a financial strenuous situation, and the person tells you you can get out of that financially strenuous situation by doing A, B, and C, and you say, you know what, let me go pray and fast about that. You're in a financial strenuous situation. This isn't about praying and fasting. This is about doing what you need to do and making sure that you're consistent across the board. In addition, one tip is if you are staying in a mode of prayer and you're continuously praying and fasting as you go along in your life, you are asking God to guide your steps. And if any step you take is wrong, you're asking that God will course correct it for you. But a non-step means that God can't course correct you. And momentum is what you need in your life. With momentum, you're moving, and if you make a left and you needed to make a right, guess what? Since you're still moving, you can go back and make another right. But if you're not moving, you're not moving. You're in a stagnant position. So that's a recap on yesterday's No Nonsense New Year series. I hope if you watched it that you enjoyed it, and if you didn't have an opportunity to watch it, that this gives you a summary of what it was and goes a little bit more in depth so people understand the backdrop. Have a blessed night.